Only 1 in a million moose is born white. It's not albinism, it's a rare genetic trait known as leucism. These massive animals can weigh nearly a ton, stand taller than humans, and fear almost nothing in the wild. So, what could possibly bring one down? Let's find out. The moose is a Canadian icon. Its gigantic size-chill attitude and majestic antlers make it one of our most beloved animals. More than just wildlife, the moose is a living symbol of Canada itself. Calm and seemingly gentle, it carries an immense strength beneath its quiet presence, a reminder of the raw power hidden in the northern wilderness. The first thing you notice when you see a moose up close is how massive they are. They're absolute units. Standing next to a moose feels like facing a moving wall of muscle and bone. Its sheer size is difficult to comprehend until you see one up close, towering effortlessly over its surroundings. Moose are the largest deer in the world, and the largest land animal in Europe and North America. The largest subspecies, the Alaskan moose, can weigh up to 700 kilograms and are 2 meters tall at the shoulder, not including their antlers. When they stand on their hind legs to forage for tree leaves, they can reach branches 4 meters off the ground. And you know what they say about tall moose. They have big old antlers. A bull moose's antlers are about 1.5 meters across, while the larger Alaskan subspecies have even larger antlers, measuring up to 1.8 meters wide. They're the only deer that have palm leaf-shaped antlers, as opposed to twig-like antlers. They use these massive antlers, both as tools for sexual selection and as a defense mechanism against predators. These antlers are far more than decoration. They are weapons, status symbols, and survival tools that shape nearly every aspect of a bull moose's life. New research suggests that they might even improve a moose's hearing by functioning as a parabolic reflector, like a satellite dish for sounds. In vast forests where danger can emerge silently, enhanced hearing can mean survival, giving moose an unexpected advantage in detecting predators long before they are seen. Having big antlers increases the moose's chances to reproduce, as they're less likely to be challenged by males with smaller antlers. And the most amazing thing about their antlers is that they need to grow a new pair every year. Their antlers every winter. They're cumbersome, heavy, and radiate a lot of heat, so they have adapted to be antler-free. During the colder months, shedding antlers is not a weakness but a smart adaptation. By dropping them in winter, moose conserve energy and reduce heat loss when survival depends on efficiency. In spring, the new pair starts growing. The size depends on the bull's testosterone levels. Younger males have smaller antlers, but they keep getting larger every year, until they're about 13 years old. After that, the moose become elderly, and the antlers begin to shrink. A healthy bull's antlers are some of the fastest growing tissues. In the animal kingdom, they can grow up to 20 centimeters a week. Their antlers grow from spring until about September. They have thousands of tiny hair follicles that give them a velvety texture. The velvet will stay on until September. When it starts to fall off, the moose will rub their antlers on trees to help remove the velvet. When doing this, they strip the bark off of trees, a process that results in the moose looking rather frightening. This velvet is attached to a layer of skin, and skin is fed by blood, so you can imagine that when they're rubbing their antlers hard enough against trees to strip bark, they are stripping the skin off of their antlers. It is a bloody mess. To human eyes, this process looks brutal and violent. To the moose, it is simply nature following its course, a necessary step toward renewal. This behavior gives them their name moose, which is derived from the Eastern Abenaki word moose, or the Narragansett word moose, or musu, variously translated as twig eater or he who strips, referring of course to the bark. In Europe, moose are known as elks because of their Latin name, alces. By winter, their antlers fall off completely. They're full of calcium, phosphorus, and other minerals, and provide a lot of nutrition to smaller mammals, such as squirrels and porcupines. Because of their size and their antlers, these heavyweights have very few predators. The only animal capable of regularly taking down a bull moose is the Siberian tiger. Here in North America, juvenile, sick and elderly moose are targeted by bears, wolves, and cougars, but a healthy adult moose is generally untouchable. Most predators instinctively avoid healthy adult moose, knowing that a single misstep could result in severe injury or death. Their size not only protects them from predators, it also keeps them safe from a far more dangerous threat, the Canadian winter. Moose are built for the cold. They have very thick skin, a warm coat and a low surface-to-volume ratio, which prevents them from losing too much heat. Their long, skinny legs allow them to walk and run in deep snow, oftentimes much deeper than it is possible for predators, such as wolves, to survive. When it gets hot, moose struggle. In especially hot summers, moose lose their appetite, and this might prevent them from gaining enough weight to survive the following winter. To cool down on a hot summer day, they go swimming. This also helps them get rid of parasites and to hide from horseflies. They can swim up to 10 km a day, and they can hold their breath underwater for up to 30 seconds. Moose spend so much time in cool ponds that they have adapted to eat water plants, such as lilies and waterweeds. When foraging for food underwater, they are even able to close their nostrils. They're the only deer known to do this. Few land mammals of this size are such powerful swimmers, allowing moose to move freely between forests, wetlands, and open water with remarkable ease. Waterweeds are an important source of nutrition for moose, as they require a high nutrient and low fiber diet. Moose need a very specific mix of plants to have a balanced diet. Eating too much fiber can kill them. This is one of the reasons moose haven't been domesticated on a large scale. Some animals are not meant to be controlled or domesticated. The moose remains a creature shaped by evolution to stay wild. As amazing as that fantasy would be if they're fed hay, it gets stuck in their bellies. In one particularly tragic case, a moose starved to death, with 100 kg of hay in its intestines. It was completely stuck, and there was no room for it to digest new food. While northern populations are stable, southern moose populations are crashing. Moose numbers have been halved in southern Ontario and Cape Breton in the past 10 years. This rapid decline is not because moose are poorly adapted, because environmental changes are happening faster than nature can adjust. There are several reasons for this. The first is climate change. Summers are becoming too hot for moose to endure, and winters don't always provide enough snow for young moose to be safe from predators. The second is even deadlier: white-tailed deer. They're extremely cute but carry lots of parasites that moose are not equipped to deal with. As roads, human activity, and climate change allow white-tailed deer to expand their range northward, they're introducing pathogens such as liver fluke and meningeal worms to moose. Respectively, these can cause moose to die from liver failure and go blind and starve to death. Moose will often rub themselves up against trees with their antlers and their whole body to remove parasites like ticks or for marking their territory. Deer ticks and winter ticks can have a devastating effect on moose. On top of severe blood loss, they cause extreme itchiness. Moose try to deal with this by scratching themselves on trees, but sometimes they do it so violently that they lose parts of their coat and end up getting deep cuts and bruises. Without a coat, moose are likely to suffer frostbite in the winter, and the cuts become infected, leading them to an almost certain death. It seems that moose should be able to tolerate a couple of ticks on their body, but in some cases, they've been found to have over 100,000 ticks on their body at the same time. Moose population controls are ongoing, but as the weather changes and deer multiply, it becomes harder and harder to save the mighty moose. Protecting the moose means protecting the fragile balance of the northern wilderness itself.